Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tell you what, 28 days. The battle is still raging. It is ugly. It is nasty. It is a stalemate, as they like to talk about. We touched on it yesterday with Mike Lyons. This is arguably the worst time for the people, right? Because while you think look at what we're doing, we fought them to essentially a draw, and the worst time for the Russians, who are just in a hot mess at this point in time. The reality is, for all of those things, here's this. Putin's just going to continue to fire, just going to continue to destroy. He's a child who is pissed that his toy doesn't work or he can't do what it wants to do, so he's going to break it.
I think it's a bloody stalemate, and I'd have to underscore and highlight the word bloody, because on the one hand, the Ukrainians have basically stopped the Russians in many areas. They have inflicted enormous losses on the Russians. By some estimates now, in the first, 27, 28 days of this campaign, the Russians have lost nearly twice as many soldiers as we lost in 20 years of Iraq. Beyond that, there will be many more who would be wounded. The losses in weapon systems and vehicles are really quite extraordinary.
Yeah. Really extraordinary. In fact, not only is it extraordinary, you watch some of the stuff, what they're doing is the Russians are abandoning their stuff and they're retreating, and then the Ukrainians are like, we got new stuff. So they're fighting them in many ways with their own stuff. But it's that kind of weird time where this just becomes an occupation and a battle, and Mariupol is destroyed. And it's not going to change. That place isn't getting rebuilt tomorrow. He's got what he wants. A lot of people think the way out, if there is a way out, people say, oh, there's never a way out. There's a way to maybe stop this at this moment in time. At least get some sort of ceasefire. If he captured Mariupol and the opportunity for him to have a straight bridge to Crimea, that's a possibility. I don't know what's in his mind. I don't think anybody does at this point. You know, you're hearing stuff. There's going to be a coup. There's going to be. I have no idea. I think the $1 trillion question, the $10 trillion, the life question. Screw the money. The we survive as a species question of what the hell is he thinking? I couldn't tell you. I don't think anybody can. I don't even know if he knows right now what his next move is. Our president of the United States, Joe Biden, just shuffled off and got on an airplane to head over to Brussels.
This meeting is designed and has been called by President Biden originally to tap into what is one of the major strengths right now of the NATO alliance, and that is an intangible force. It is a united and determined Europe, united in outrage and determined to stop or to find some way to back down Vladimir Putin and get this war stopped.
Well, that's not happening at this moment because, like I said, I don't think he has an understanding of what's going on from day to day. Because what is he getting information-wise that he believes? What is he getting information-wise that not only that he believes, but that he and the people inside of the power base there in the Kremlin is actually doing something with? I don't know. You know, do they have anybody on the ground? You're hearing stories that the conscripts aren't paying any attention to anything anybody says. They're running for their lives at times. They feel no loyalty, and they're pissed. They're angry. So they're not listening to anybody, and nobody knows who's in charge on the ground.
So they're in a very tough spot. They have extended the tours of their conscripts that would have ended in April. Terrible effect on morale. And then they're bringing the new crop of conscripts on early. So they have an awful lot of challenges, but they also have an awful lot of firepower. So the Ukrainians have extraordinary determination, motivation, actual skill, resourcefulness, and so forth, and heart. And the Russians have a great deal of artillery, rockets, missiles, and even bombs, and they're making use of those.
And that's what they're doing. They're just going to wipe it out. Mariupol has anywhere between 100 and about 150,000 people still in there. Some people are saying they've got food for a few days, if that. You've got, this is a humanitarian nightmare, and it's going to get worse, and get worse on potentially a world stage, which isn't being talked about. You know, one of the things that people say, you know, the only reason we're watching this is because it's a white country versus a white country. The difference between what goes on in a place like Yemen and Afghanistan, which what a debacle it was, we all realize that, is the worldwide fallout that not just to Western nations when it comes to soaring gas prices and the cost of goods. How about everybody and food? Oh.
Ukraine, as you've probably heard, is one of the world's leading exporters of wheat, so much so that the experts often refer to it as the breadbasket of Europe. According to recent data, Ukraine normally accounts for about 12% of the world's wheat exports, corn about 13%, and Ukraine alone supplies roughly half of the world's sunflower oil. The head of the United Nations warns the conflict could cause a hurricane of hunger worldwide.
That's scary. That is. Because there are places around the globe that you would think, well, they're first world country. They rely in certain situations on actually getting food delivered from other countries. We're fortunate. As tough as it could be, we could shut up shop today, not allow anybody in or out, keep us the way that we are, and we could produce everything here. It would be tight. Don't get me wrong at first, but we could. We absolutely could. Not a lot of places can do that. And when you think about the what we're seeing now, think about Africa and some of these other countries that depend on getting food from places like Russia and Ukraine, and the potential of people who are already struggling when it comes to the consumption of food because they don't get enough, now having very limited access. That's scary.
Not far away, we were greeted by family farm owners Zinovy Maximoshin and his daughter Maria Samolyenko. Their 21,000-acre farm is considered medium-sized for Ukraine. 10 days ago, Ukrainian President Zelensky encouraged farmers not to flee, to carry on with their work amid the war, saying, "It's about our victory."
You consider the men who drive the trucks like this as important as the soldiers on the front lines?
That's true, Zinovy says. This is our battlefield.
Yeah, it is. Russia is a mass producer as well. So you've got two of the biggest producers. Put them together, they're probably the largest producers and exporters of things like wheat and corn. And what's going to happen? The world's not going to be getting their stuff, at least not the way it was. So places, like I said, that are already struggling when it comes to food, that have already seen famines in the last several years and are continuing to go through it because of civil war and things of that nature, are going to be facing something much more bleak than they realized.
All of a sudden, what seems like a sanctuary from the war, invaded by a sound in the sky.
Hey, listen. Is it a fighter jet?
It's most likely a military plane, he tells me, unsure if it's Ukrainian or Russian.
When you hear a plane like that, what do you think?
I'm anxious, but we have to do our work. We have to make sure our country and other countries have something to eat.
Yeah. Things we don't think about. I don't know what they're going to be doing today in Brussels besides meeting. One of the things that's been talked about is, are there more sanctions ahead? I would assume, as you know, remember, EU is still energy dependent and have not done what we've done as far as cutting off the oil from Russia. And our oil, you know, anywhere between 5 and 8%, depending on the year, of exports that we would get from Russia. The EU is far more energy dependent, not just with oil and gas. The natural gas side of it is massive, and they've not yet cut ties. So, and that was just the other day, the thought of that, the debate of that, saw oil rise to about $10. Currently sitting about $119 right now. So take that into to all the things we're seeing. Imagine if they decided today, all right, we're not going to take any oil and gas from Russia. What would that do? Well, the first thing it does is it makes that 20, 30% of what they take, that is now off the table. That means the stuff that's available, that pie shrunk. And we're all still fighting over that same pie.
There will be what they call some delivery, some concrete things, it looks like, some new sanctions on Russia. The members of the Russian legislature, the Duma, are going to be sanctioned, the White House tells us. There'll also be the next phase of military assistance for Ukraine as it not only stalemates Russia on the battlefield, but seeks to gain advantage. And there'll be talk as well about humanitarian assistance and assistance to those frontline NATO states that are now looking at a war across their border.
Yeah. So interesting to see how he handles this, President Biden, and how they take this thing on, because we need to do something when it comes to the humanitarian side, because the Ukraine, you get 10 million people displaced. Almost 4 million people have fled over into places like Poland. Poland right now is bursting. They can no longer handle anything more. They cannot handle anything more. That right there is, we've got to figure this out, because they're expecting originally 2 to 3 million that may have fled the country. Now they're saying, well, it could be up to 10 million. What's that cost? What's that look like? How do you get them back to their country when and if this thing ends anytime soon? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Hope all is well. It's Woke Wednesday. Got some woke stuff for you. Tons of it. Inflation, consumer confidence. One group is now not as confident as they used to, and this is usually one of those groups that sends things and sends signals that, what could be coming is that R word, recession. Oh, jeez. Plus, the best tennis player in the world says, yeah, I'm done. Why? She's only 25. But out of nowhere, she goes, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Talk about that. So many other things to get to. Eden Pure. If you're like me, I like things to smell nice. I shower every day. I'm very much a neat-ish freak. And I like bad smells. And that's where Eden Pure comes in, right? And you would never know. Like, my house is, we got a new house. My father-in-law used to live there. He passed away. He was a smoker, right? You would never know, because I got my Thunderstorm air purifiers from Eden Pure, and it's incredible. And they are amazing. Over 150,000 of them sold. And I will tell you right now, it destroys viruses, odors, mold, and just about anything you can think of. And it plugs in the wall. There is no filters to buy. Quiet, and within seconds, you can smell the difference. And that makes me smile. My lizards have their own, which is awesome, because I like to make sure, even though their cages are clean and everything is perfect and you can eat off some of the stuff, literally, the reality is I don't like those smells, and you would never know that there is any. Amazing. Right now, get your incredible Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifiers. Save $200 on a 3-pack. Full coverage. Kitchen, office, bedroom. Plug them in. Gets rid of odors. Never buy a filter. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. Put in discount code CHAD3 to save $200. That's Eden Pure Deals discount. It's EdenPureDeals.com, and then use that discount code CHAD3. Shipping is free. EdenPureDeals.com. Code CHAD3. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
Prosecution and the defense, the probation office has written a report, and they make a recommendation to the court based on their independent analysis related to the facts of a particular crime and defendant and sentence.
Understood. So they give the court counsel. Understood. However, they don't issue guidelines. They're not uniform.
Josh Hawley, Ketanji Brown Jackson, going at it a little bit over things like, it's one of those things where you're saying, okay, look, here's the deal. You didn't sentence pedophiles, child molesters, people who perpetrated crimes upon children in the way that you should have. Why was that? She comes out and says, and everything fell within the guidelines of the things that I was given. And there you go. So this is all about grandstanding. It's all about making sure you get your several, minutes where you can cut up the sound bites perfectly and you can raise money off of it. Everybody's got their opportunity to do it. Of course, you knew somewhere along the line Ted Cruz was going to weigh in because that's what the Ted Cruz does.
In your understanding, what does critical race theory mean? What is it?
Senator, my understanding is that critical race theory is it is an academic theory that is about the ways in which race interacts with various institutions. It doesn't come up in my work as a judge.
What? And here's the other thing, and the disingenuous of the disingenuous of the media. When you see it, they're like, no, those are nothing but racist questions.
This came off as petty, it came off as small, and it came off, yes, as racist.
Of course. It's easy to say, right? It's racist. Look, you're trying to become and will become a justice on the Supreme Court. You're going to get a lifetime appointment. People have every right to ask you questions, right? Not every question is racist. Because you're black and I ask you a question about something doesn't mean it's a racist question. It means it's a question. The disingenuousness of it all. She will end up being confirmed. We know that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Talk a little Ukraine. How does wokeness play into the Ukraine? It's Putin's unholy alliance. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Ukraine is being shelled. I was reading a great article today about the Chinese intellectuals and the professors and teachers who are all studying Taiwan and taking it with force. And they're also studying what's going on here. They're looking around going, Taiwan's much better prepared. They're expecting this. They're much better prepared. And what we're seeing is the Russians are getting beat down. They're getting backed down. They're getting pushed around. They are not fighting because they feel like they were sold a bill of goods. They're undertrained. And they were overconfident, I'm sure, in some areas. And Taiwan's looking at this going, look, if they squeeze us into one simple area, we can win the fight. We could also do it in such a way where it will become it's going to be uninhabitable. And they're going to have all of this stuff pointing at us and being able to pick us off as we try to come ashore. Are we going to bomb them into submission? No. So they're looking and saying, this may not be worth it. This may not be worth it. But right now, the Communist Party is looking at Taiwan and what it would look like if they tried to take it with, quote unquote, force. Here's the other thing. Chinese aren't risk takers. They're not. They're calculating. We're talking about the upper, the Xi's of the world. They're not risk taking by nature. That's not their thing. They're patient. They'll wait it out. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen 100 years from now. There's a plan. And I think this is also a wake-up call. When you're fighting for something, like the Ukrainians are, that is different than I'm trying to take something from you. I'm not even really sure if I want it or why we want it. As opposed to you're trying to take something from me and you're threatening my existence and the existence of my family and my people. You tend to fight in a much different way. You do. Absolutely. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Oh, this is, if you guys have not heard this, so Harry's Razors, you guys know Harry's Razors? Well, Harry's Razors I think we did Dollar Shave Club, but they're one of those ones. And Daily Wire, and some of their shows, they were going out of their way like we do. We sell the stuff, hey, try this product, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they decided, hey, we're not going to advertise on your shows anymore. And so the CEO has a razor line coming out, right? And this is Ben Shapiro and Mr. Boring here, as you'll hear. And the parody commercial of Harry's Razors and for Gillette is absolutely spectacular. And I'm going to play you some of it. And it begins with driving up in like a what looks like a Ferrari or Lamborghini and almost running over people in the parking lot and then getting out and having a laugh.
What's up?
So you guys ready? Here we go.
Do you remember when there were two genders and only 1.5 of them had to shave their mustaches? Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire. Harry's Razors used to advertise on our shows. They're a great product, and we were happy to do it. That's before some peon who works for me went and said that boys are boys and girls are girls. And that was just too much for Harry's. They condemned our views. Views held by millions of Americans and virtually every human who's walked the planet until about 15 minutes ago as inexcusable.
It's a 3-minute commercial. Talks about Gillette shaving your face, letting your daughter. I mean, it is, but it's funny, and I point this out because on our Woke Wednesday stuff that we do here is the insanity of which we see things now. And if you're a company, you now have to take some sort of line on something that has to be politically the right line, or else you'll face an issue. Yesterday, in the Don't Say Gay bill, which is not what the bill's called, by the way, in Florida, the walkout happened. Disney employees, ESPN employees, I think you had FX employees, any employee of staff of Disney, which is like several different companies and organizations, they all decided they're taking it to the streets because Disney hasn't done what they wanted them to do.
They're walking out.
This is a human rights issue.
Nicholas is a Disney cast member and says he's upset about how the company has reacted to Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill.
Which is not the name of the bill. Nowhere in there does it say Don't Say Gay. The BBC, this is the BBC, fairly woke. They actually say some Disney staff stage a walkout over Florida's LGBT. First of all, you didn't put LGBTQIA+. They said the bill's formerly known as Parental Rights in Education Bill. Critics have dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill. The legislation does not contain the term gay, though it bans discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity for children under 10 or when not age appropriate. Oh, my God. Oh, geez. The humanity. It does? No, it says Don't Say Gay. It does not. But it's dubbed something cute and fluffy so people can go, I'm going to rage and be angry.
We want action and not just continued lip service of saying, we love you, we stand with you.
Disney CEO Bob Chapek was silent at first and did not issue a public condemnation of the legislation. He later apologized and said the company is pausing all political donations in Florida. But Nicholas says the LGBTQ community needs more assurances.
More assurances for what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say this. Having grown up and probably have gone to Disneyland as a patron, if you will, meaning somebody who's going there, because I worked for Disney Radio for a while, but it was actually at Disney. But it is having gone there where I go and I ride rides and have stuff. I've probably been 500, 600 times, maybe more. The amounts of time, I couldn't even tell you how many times. There may not be a more welcoming, gayer place on planet Earth. Okay. I don't know what else you want them. Well, we want him to use their influence. To do what? What are you threatening to do? Are you going to say, all right, well, here's the deal. We've decided here at Disney that we're going to move the park somewhere else. Okay. Have fun. Have fun. You're not going to do that. But that's the craziness of it. It's do whatever it is that we're asking you to do, or else. Or else.
They've lost that respect from thousands, hundreds of cast members.
Oh, my God. First of all, you're not a cast member. Dumbest thing in the world. Sorry. I just tell people that. It's like, right? Because Disney's whole thing is if you were in front of people, whether you were sweeping or you were a character, you're on stage. So you're a cast member.
Right now, I think the magic has been lost.
Really? Has it been lost?
I am here standing because, I want to be a proud cast member once again.
Oh. Then don't work there. Don't work there.
I really hope Disney hears us and Disney hears this message because we're not going to let up until we see real and lasting change.
What's real and lasting change? I'm just curious. What are you hoping to get out of this? You want to be so woke you have to take a side on something. Well, this is what it is. I'm an ally. An ally of what? We're not at war. Not yet. There's real stuff going on. Understand there's real things going on. Real things. Not your feelings are hurt because, oh boy, we didn't do what you wanted us to. Ha ha. No, there are real things going on where people are dying by the thousands on a weekly basis, and the potential for it to get even uglier, where the world's dragged into something, and you're pissed because the mouse house wasn't what you thought it was. Oh, boy. Can't get any gayer than this place, guys. But my God. I know, Mickey. So what are your demands? Just out of curiosity. Well, we're not going to do anything, right? And so the guy has to come out CEO, and he's like, well, I guess we have to produce more gay-friendly shows for children. I mean, come, for the love of God. Enough. Enough. Well, I'm not proud anymore of Disney. Go work somewhere else, bro. You're not proud of Disney. Go work somewhere else. You're not happy. There's plenty of places you can go. Yeah, but I want it to be magical. It's not real. Just like your oppression isn't real. This isn't 30, 40 years ago where coming out of the closet meant real bad things. You're mad because, well, you're a child. It's so sad. There are real things going on in the world. Yemen has a massive problem with war and famine. The Ukraine is being bombed to submission, but not submitting. And you're angry because, well, Mickey's not allied to you the way that you want him to be. Because they're trying to be, well, not political. Oh, good God. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Yeah, that's just, oh my God. Over it. A lot more woke stuff, including something my uncle, my uncle who's Mexican, did something, and then everybody accused him of being racist, which is hilarious. Talk about that. Talk more about the unholy war. We didn't have a chance to get to it, but that's one of the things that when you want to talk about how it's being positioned in Russia, the war, from Nazis to things like gender bending and the evil of the West, is how the Russian Orthodox Church, which has aligned itself big time with Putin, is pushing some of this and is all for the eradication of anything that has to do with the West. Talk more about that. As well as the number one tennis player in the world has said, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, she's at the top of the game. CarShield is great. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for freeway cars in the shop. Shop is the shop that you choose, right? So you choose that shop. They get them paid directly. They're going to handle the paperwork and do everything. The reality of this world that we live in now is supply chains are still a hot mess. Labor prices are going through the roof. Getting parts is tough, but then when you get them, they're going through the roof because of inflation. So why not protect yourself and potentially thousands of dollars to your wallet by getting CarShield? They got prices to fit anybody's budget, plans to work with anybody, and it keeps yourself in a situation where you don't have to worry about that check engine light should it come on. So what I want you to do, right now CarShield is doing something amazing. Sign up with CarShield today. You're going to get the forever price, meaning as long as you stay with CarShield, this is what you pay. There's no raising rates. There's no, hey, next month it's this. Nope, it is this. Go to carshield.com/Benson. You're going to save 10%, or you can call 800-391-8888, 800-391-8888. You'll save 10%, and you'll lock in your forever pricing. Over 1 million drivers trust CarShield. Why not be one of them? carshield.com/Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what? Yesterday I tweeted out that breaking news. This is what I tweeted. So breaking news. Hillary Clinton tested positive for COVID-19. Also breaking news. COVID-19 just committed suicide. Probably shot itself twice, as all good suicides go. The wokeness and craziness of people like, I can't believe you'd say that. Some people laugh. One person says, you're not a good person, surely not a Christian. And I said, well, thank you. Because you get to make that. And by the way, Christian is a made-up thing. It's something people, Christers, Christ followers. It's just we want to put a label on something. One person says, I failed to find the humor in any of this. Well, of course not. I guarantee you, you're hurt all the time. There's no humor that you find funny. There's none. We have lost the humor world. We can't let it happen. We can't. Yesterday. So we're doing this. Michael's doing this stuff for this company, and they said, hey, we want to do something for Cinco de Mayo. And this is essentially, think of an AR experience, right? It's an AR experience where, you take a picture somewhere and it's just a regular picture, but then they'd put a sombrero on your head and, something for Cinco de Mayo. My uncle, if you guys don't know, my best friend, we're business partners. He's a giant Mexican fellow, right? My grandfather was Jesus Limon. My uncle is Paul Limon. And the guy working with him is Asian and said, well, that's just racist. And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, that's racist. He goes, why is it racist? He goes, first of all, I'm the one that should be offended, and I'm the one suggesting it. And then all the other people that work there, younger, whiter people, were very upset as well. You're like, are you kidding me? You guys, wait, what? Yeah, that's the insanity of which we live now. Nobody sees humor in anything, and everybody feels that something is racist. Oh, my goodness. She's the best tennis player in the world. Ashley Bartley, everybody calls her Ash, has decided to say bye-bye.
I'm so happy and I'm so ready, and I just know at the moment in my heart for me as a person, this is right.
She is done. She's done. She won Wimbledon, she won the French Open, and she just won the Australian Open, 3 of the 4 majors. She has not won the U.S. Open. She's only 25, number 1 player in the world.
But to be able to win Wimbledon, which was my dream, the one true dream that I wanted in tennis, that really changed my perspective. And I just had that gut feeling after Wimbledon, and had spoken to my team quite a lot about it.
Yeah. And then this thing, and this is spot on right here.
I've said it to my team multiple times. It's just I don't have that in me anymore. I don't have the physical drive, the emotional want, and kind of everything it takes to challenge yourself at the very top of the level anymore. And I think I just know that I'm absolutely, I am spent. I just know physically I have nothing more to give.
25, stepping away. Doesn't have the drive. It's not the first time. She did it when she was younger, too. And I just think that she said, I got other dreams, and I've got all this stuff. She's engaged, and she's done. Takes a lot of guts to quit at the top. Just look what happens with somebody like Tom Brady, who said, no, I can't do it. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
70% of people who work in these here United States of America, according to a new survey, and it wasn't just America, but this is, I'm just going with where we live, America. 7 out of 10 are passing on promotions. They don't care about promotions. What do they care about? The 3 words that popped up the most: freedom, flexibility, autonomy. Freedom, flexibility, and autonomy. Freedom to work from home, right? The flexibility of working from home, which is a better work-life balance, which is phenomenal for a lot of people, that they found out that during the COVID insanity of everybody working from home that could work from home, that it gave them a new perspective and autonomy where they don't feel like they're micromanaged. And a lot of my friends worked from home, and they said, look, it's weird. You get more hours out of a lot of people, but in a weird way, where it's like, okay, I got to have something in by tomorrow. I got most of it done. So I'm going to, I got something to do today. I'm going to take the kids, pick them up early. We're going to go have lunch, maybe go to the playground. And then, 8 o'clock at night, they're still working, finishing up the things and putting the touches on it. And New York is having a tough time, in particular Wall Street, getting their people to come back. But people are passing up promotions. And now, well, if you're a business owner, you got to figure out what exactly do you do if you're a corporation. Jeff Abbott, CEO of Ivanti, the company behind the survey, when asked, does this mean employers should wave the white flag and declare anarchy? He says, no, not at all. This is about empowering top talent to be as productive as possible, removing barriers to access, enabling secure workplaces, whether they're in the office or on a houseboat somewhere. And most agile employers will provide workplace options combined with policies that encourage live interactions across teams. Some of the other stuff in the survey, a quarter of the respondents said they'd quit if their employer forced a full-time return to the office. At the same time, 24% reported having left their jobs in the past years, and 28% anticipated changing jobs in the next 6 months. The response from many of these people cited the myriad of benefits of working from home. Saving money, huge. Gas right now. You want to give your employees a raise without having to give them a raise? Work from home. You can keep your prices down without having to pass it on in a larger way, and you can give your employees a break. They talked about time saving, less commuting, 48%. Better work-life balance, 43%. Flexible work schedule. And if you're a company that is trying to get talent, trying to keep talent, you've got to look around and say, okay, it's not always about money, right? Because people will take less money to move places where they go, okay, my money's going to go as far here, but I also have a better quality of life. And I've got a balance. I can spend time with my kids. I can do the things I enjoy doing, and I still get my job done. I think it's at first it's tough if you've never worked from home. But once you get into it and you understand how it flows, and instead of being micromanaged saying, hey, you've got to get this done by X, close a business, there. How you get it is how you do it. It's what we tell our employees. Hey, we need this by, boom, we've got a presentation. Hey, we've got this stuff here by this. I need that. I don't care how you do it. And I'll get emails at 2:33, 4 in the morning because people are up working. And I know during the day they're doing some other stuff. I'm okay. I think we're all okay with that. Just get your job done. All coronavirus did was push us forward in a way where it was going to go eventually. It just sped up that process. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. The nightmare continues, and it's getting, as bad as you might think it is, especially in Mariupol. And is it time to talk seriously about war crimes?
More than 100,000 remain trapped with food, water and power running low, but Ukrainian forces are still holding on. U.S. officials now say some of the most egregious accounts of what could be considered war crimes are happening in the city.
Yeah, and we talked about it several weeks ago when this thing first started, that Putin was obsessed with Gaddafi and his end, with the likes of Saddam Hussein and his end. And he would watch these things over and over and over and over again. Mussolini over again. Ceausescu, the former dictator that ran Romania back in the 70s and 80s, over again. Their executions, all of those things. The thought of his country and his fellow country people turning on him, or being dragged to The Hague to sit there and go through war crimes, is something that he's worried about. He is. But what's going on in Mariupol? I got 100,000 plus people there, running out of food, no electricity, very little water and necessities for day-to-day living, and continuous shelling over and over again. Our president heading over to Brussels to sit down and have a chat with everybody made it very clear what he's going to do when he arrives, and he wants to do it right to their face.
I'm going to say that to their face. I'm going to say all I have to say, I'm going to say when I get there.
Which is chemical weapons, false flags, and we have to do as much as we can, and it can't just be us getting together BSing.
There will be what they call some deliverables, some concrete things, it looks like, some new sanctions on Russia. The members of the Russian legislature, the Duma, are going to be sanctioned, the White House tells us. There'll also be the next phase of military assistance for Ukraine as it not only stalemates Russia on the battlefield, but seeks to gain advantage. And there'll be talk as well about humanitarian assistance and assistance to those frontline NATO states that are now looking at a war across their border.
Yeah. And that is getting to much worse. As the NATO states are potentially preparing for something. We're hearing today that Belarus may join the war soon. And by the way, that is not going to be for Ukraine. That is going to be for the Russians. You've got to also, as you're preparing to potentially, especially Poland and Romania, get into the battle as, hey, what if? You also have to take a step back and say, we're taking people on at a rate that we can no longer sustain. And that's scary. I mean, they've got, I don't know how many people in Warsaw. I mean, I have no idea. You're looking at 10 million people displaced, but about 3.5 million have traveled outside of the actual country of Ukraine. There's been 100,000+, maybe a little bit more, that have gone into Russia. But, you're talking Bulgaria, Romania. We're now, doing what we can. We need to do a lot more. And interesting, Brandon Judd, who is the Border Patrol, kind of the spokesman for the Border Patrol, was saying that in the last several days, there's been 4,000 Russians and Ukrainians that have come across the border. And it's very interesting the way that they're doing it, because the cartels apparently are saying, no. You guys have to go and turn yourself in. We're not sneaking you across. We don't want you coming here. You're upsetting business. And we don't want business upset. Don't care what's going on in your country. We got other issues here that we're dealing with, and this is a business. So they're pushing them to areas where they're, going, and we're letting Ukrainians in, but not Russians. It is not good. It is not a good situation. All because we got a guy who is, I couldn't tell you what Putin's thinking. I don't think anybody knows if they really knew. I couldn't tell you if there's, you hear disinformation, misinformation, information at this point in time. I'm very skeptical about any of the information that comes out. Very skeptical. All that being said, you hear stories about, well, there's a coup inside potentially. I don't know who's going to get close enough to him. It's got to be a general. I mean, I'm sure the oligarchs themselves are not thrilled by this. You hear stories that the oligarchs want him gone, and they want to restore trade and open the West and Russia back up together to be friends, because their business is being hurt and their livelihoods are being hurt. And when you start losing your stuff and they start taking away your soccer teams and you're getting demonized as evil, I have news for you guys. You're done. You're done. One of the things they're going to do is probably, they're going to sanction everybody that is part of anything to do with government. If you're a dog catcher, you may be sanctioned over there. Religious figures. In particular, the Patriarch Kirill, who is the guy that runs the Russian Orthodox Church, who believes this is a holy war between good and evil, and that the West encroachment with their gender things and all that this is right. That's tough, man. That is tough. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Because you're thinking to yourself, okay, you guys think you're going to take them out. And if you did, what does that accomplish? It's not like tomorrow that everybody's just going to welcome you with open arms. It's not like you're going to go back to your normal lives and think that, the world's going to welcome you to park your boats places and you get your soccer teams back or whatever it is that you have. Because people are now going to look at you as like you were part of the issue that caused this nightmare because you propped that cat up. Oh, yeah. Calibrate. It's about losing weight. Imagine making simple changes to your life, nothing insane, and also FDA medication. You put those two together, and what do you have? You have a metabolic reset to your body, and you have success. Calibrate's earliest members lost well over 15% of their body weight. Some are down 20, 30, 40% of their body weight. That could be you. You're going to get one-on-one video coaching, in-app tracking, right? So you can go there and you can track everything, what you're doing. You're going to get medical care, including a video doctor visit, and they're going to show you how through this medication and changes that your body is going to reset its metabolism. And guess what? Your weight loss is going to happen because your weight loss, it's not about your willpower. It's about resetting that metabolism and understanding that as your weight comes off, your body doesn't freak out and think, we're starving. I want you to try Calibrate. Easy to fit into anybody's lifestyle. It's simple. Go to joincalibrate.com. Use promo code CHAD. You're going to get $50 off a one-year metabolic reset. That's joincalibrate.com. Promo code CHAD. Joincalibrate.com. Promo code CHAD. Save $50 right there. Chad Benson Show.
No need to socially distance while listening to your Chad Benson Show podcast. 4 out of 5 experts say so.
I'm a scientist. There is no corona.
But hurry before they change their mind. You know they will. Chad's podcast found on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite COVID-free podcasts.
Oh my gosh. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's take a peek, find out what's trending in the old webs of the inter and the net, shall we? Yes, indeed. Start over on the Google. Conservatorship. Amanda Bynes yesterday, she was freed from her conservatorship. If you don't know her, she was an actress. What a Girl Wants, several other things. She had a lot of problems. Seems to have gotten her life somewhat in order according to the court, but they've released her from her conservatorship. I'm going to say something here. All right. If you thought Britt was a little, she was whoa. But hey, there you go. Ash Barty, number one tennis player in the world, retires at age 25. New Orleans saw a massive tornado rip through its suburbs, killing one. Many other people are missing. Horrible situation there. Brian Houston, pastor, Hillsong, has quit after an internal inquiry says that apparently he came on to a few women. I don't know, but because Hillsong's very quiet, but became extremely popular for the famous and the young. So head over to Twitter. Don't say gay, which is not the name of the bill, is trending because, of course, it is. The war in Ukraine continues. Mariupol is besieged. Pictures coming out of there. Day 3 of the Supreme Court hearings of Ketanji Brown Jackson is also trending, as is Azteca. Azteca is the soccer stadium tonight where the United States men's national team will take on Mexico. Azteca is thin in air because it's high in the sky. It is hostile, one of the toughest places in the planet to play. And the United States trying to qualify for the World Cup. They have 3 games left. They probably have to at least go 1-1-1 to automatically qualify. And if we don't, every one of these players should take that shirt off and never, ever, ever play for the United States again. I'm just saying, there's no way we shouldn't qualify for every World Cup. Period. No way we shouldn't qualify for every freaking World Cup. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. More on the Ukraine. COVID news. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
New York Times. What do you think of pet weddings? I think it's the stupidest thing in the world of stupid things. Of, like, if you go and you, like, find dumb things that you can do. Stupid things. Like, hey, hitting your head against the wall 1,000 times. Like, it's dumb. Jumping off this bridge knowing there's nothing below but solid ground. Super dumb. Pet weddings right below that. They asked the question. Would you host one? Would you go to one? No. 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 Then they talk about love is in the air, so is dander. Twixie and Cowboy, both 2-year-old Brussels Griffins, were married at the Dallas home of the bride, Twixie, in the backyard. She wore a lace bodice with ruffles, laid tulle at the waist. The groom donned a handmade silk cotton tuxedo and top hat. By the way, the nuptials cost $25,000. Celebrating a union of two animals, or even an animal and a human, is not a new concept. But it's stupid regardless of whenever it happened. But as the pandemic forced many human couples to put ceremonies on hold, more people began to think outside the box and write their own rules. And that's especially true when it comes to pet weddings. Writes Hannah Novak, an editor at the wedding planning and registry website, The Knot. If my friend said, dude, my dog's in love and they're getting married, and I'd like you to come, I'd punch him in the grundle. I'd punch him right in the throat. Did you ever say that to me again? The hell is wrong with you? I don't even know you. Our dogs are getting married. I thought it was LARP weekend. Aren't you supposed to be LARPing? You're not being nice, Chad. It's the... Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me how spending $25,000 on a pet wedding is wrong. When you want to know why the world hates us, you want to know why the world's like, America's soft, America's this, and the West is that. It's because we have pet weddings. We have pet weddings. People spent $25,000 bringing their dumbass animals together. You don't even have an animal that's worth bringing together. It's not like you've got some exotic pet. Oh, these two bears have fallen in love. We're like, well, it's at least bears. I love my animals. You guys know that. Love them. Absolutely do. But I'll tell you what. My dog's not coming after me going, hey, is there any way I can get married? Can you pay for the bill? No, I can't. Oh, my God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Tweet at us. Speaking of pets, it goes from the dumbest thing that you could think of to something almost as absurd.
Tonight, a local shelter dog is looking for a soft landing after being dumped by his owners because they say he's gay.
Thought you heard it all, right? Stanley County Animal Shelter Facebook post says the dog's owner surrendered him to the shelter after he another male dog, which dogs do. Fezco, the shelter says, it's about 4 to 5 years old, weighs about 50 pounds. They say he likes other people, he likes other animals, he's a good boy. The shelter is asking for local rescues to step up and take Fezco into foster.
And that guy looks like he's going to find a new home real quick.
Fezco's adorable.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. I got to get rid of my dog. Well, he's gay. He's a gay dog. It's a gay dog. It's gay. It's a gay dog. I have to get rid of him. I thought I could put up with him, but he's part of the LGBTQ canine. And I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I can't. He went to a dog wedding. He got drunk and humped another male dog. And I can't have that in my house. My insanity won't allow that. That's a bridge too far for me. This again is why we can't have nice things. Who's thinking? Like, are you really sitting around going, man, I got to make a decision and it's tough because I really like my dog. He's a good boy. He's a good boy, but he's kind of gay. You caught him the other day. He was singing Liberace tunes. He was telling me how one day he just wanted to be famous. We have lost the plot. We have really, I couldn't even, how do you even go and turn a dog in? You're like, what's wrong with him? Does he bite? Is he, do you have kids and he bites the kids? Is he angry towards other dogs? Is he just, when you leave him alone, does he destroy the house? I mean, it's got to be something. You're turning him in. You lost your job and now the place you're going, you can't keep him anymore. What is it? He's gay. What? He's gay. He was humping another dog. There was a male dog. Saw its bits and everything. I can't have that. I cannot have that. I need to put out into the world my strength and masculinity, and I can't have no gay dog. Just want you guys to know that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Meanwhile, the rest of the world looks on and thinks, what in God's name is going on in Ukraine? How much nastier can it get? Well, I think the reality is nasty is where we're at. Ugly is where I think it can get. I just saw the president of Georgia who she was saying essentially, look, we know what's going to happen. We know that he is thinking about pushing on. We understand that he is thinking about expanding territory. And the only way that we're going to be able to stop this essentially is through force. And with Biden going out today to speak to NATO, the questions are being asked about a lot of things. Cyber is one of them. And what happens if there's a cyber attack?
It's a really tough question for the administration. And when it's been asked from National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Jen Psaki, the press secretary has been asked this, they really will only say it's a discussion, that it's a discussion that the United States and NATO allies are having and would have should that take place.
Yeah, and that being if it spilt out to countries that are part of NATO and the infrastructure in some of those countries was upended and it caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, potentially, who knows what could potentially happen for them. Could they, for all intents and purposes, consider that an act of war? You've got some people, I think, with inside NATO that would say, yes, you absolutely could do that. I don't know where Biden stands on this. We get a lot of questions, but what I don't hear is a lot of answers to the questions that I think that people would like, because there's a lot of the gray area. And when you're dealing in a situation like NATO, where you're dealing in a group, and let's be real, they're all going to get inside the room. But at the end of the day, Biden has the lead, right? The biggest dog in the room is us. So is he going to consider that something? Why haven't they attacked? I mean, we've been hearing about, get ready for the cyber attack. Get ready for the cyber attack. Get ready. I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, where is it? When is it? How does it look?
On Monday, you had the Deputy National Security Advisor for Cybersecurity, Ann Neuberger, came to the White House briefing and really rang the alarms on this, saying that they are talking to companies, they are warning companies that they've got to do everything they can to lock their digital doors, as she put it.
Yeah. And that would be a direct, that's at us. So it's this gray area of we giving them a plane is a bridge too far, and that's considered an attack. But we can give them all the weapons, and supply them with everything. And you can destroy potentially infrastructure, but that's not an actual act of war. But is it an act of war in the new world that we live? Was it Jonathan Swan from Axios was talking about this, about one of the reasons this hasn't happened? And I was talking to my uncle about it yesterday because he's a big nerd. And is when you go and you put all these things together and you write all these codes to sabotage, do all this kind of stuff, to hack and cyber, it's a singular thing that you're doing, right? So if you were to go and attack a place like Ukraine with that, but you wanted the governments and the powers that be that fight this thing off, even though it'll get through it first, they're going to learn what that is. So if you try to use it later on, it's kind of a one and done thing. You don't get it back. Is there going to be something? Maybe. Is it an act of war? I think we're going to do everything we can to stay out of this. Short of something getting into a position where it lands in a NATO country. And even at that point, I still think there will be a 24-hour period of sitting and saying, look, this thing landed here. It killed several of our people. And you might find the Russians going, that was not meant. That was an accident. That was meant for X, Y, and Z. I think you're going to find that people are going to do everything they can to avoid putting two nuclear powers in front of each other, along with several other nuclear powers to the side of us. But I still think you're going to find some other people out there that are like, you know what? We're going to consider that an act of war. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweeting at you. Tweet at me. People are tweeting at me about, I thought you loved your animals. I love my animals. My animals are not going to get a $25,000 wedding. And by the way, I spend a ton of money on my animals every year, just to let you say, so you guys understand. Right? So you understand where I am with my animals and how much I love them, how amazing they are. And I've got my, the exotic ones, if you will, with my lizards and my snakes and stuff. But I would never, we're not having a wedding for anything, especially my dogs who don't deserve a wedding. They just don't. They don't deserve a wedding because they're dogs. But I love them. I want to be around a while. How about this? Instead of doing that, how about you do something real for them and get them rough greens, right? It's Canine Vitasmarts. It's an amazing supplement. It goes on top of your dog's food. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 3, 6, 9. You sprinkle it on top. You bring your dog's food to life, and it helps your dog's food with things that really matter, like their health. Their health in a way whether maybe it's allergies and you have your dog has skin problems. Maybe they have digestive problems. Maybe they are a little older and they're having joint problems and hip problems. Watch what this can do for it. It is incredible, and Rough Greens wants you to try it before you buy it. Two ways you can do it. First, foremost, you go to ruffgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad. When you do, you're going to get a free bag. You cover the cost of shipping, or you can call them directly at 833-MyDog77, 833-MyDog77. Cover the cost of shipping. You get a bag for free. Try it before you buy it. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Helen Keller is a Nazi terrorist that is a male. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hitler?
Who's Hitler?
Vaccines work, but only the Chad Benson Show is 100% effective against stupidity.
Do you know what D-Day is? D-Day.
In person? A rapper?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite woke-free podcasts. This is the Chad Benson Show.
Will Smith has his third Best Actor nomination for the title role in King Richard.
You're not going to just be representing you. You're going to be representing every little black girl on earth.
And it's the role that'll likely get him his win. He's the overwhelming favorite, playing Venus and Serena Williams' dad, and a win would make him just the 5th black man to take home the Best Actor statue. He's up against one of the other 4 to do it, Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. The other 3 nominees this year are The Power of the Dog's Benedict Cumberbatch, Tick Tick Boom's Andrew Garfield, and Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos.
Yeah, and it's also this time of year that we're going to find out what's in those damn goodie bags. Because you guys don't know, just being nominated gets you stuff. And this year is going to be very lavish indeed. About $250,000 is what's going to be inside the goodie bags for being a part of this. So even if you don't win, you do win. Including, you're going to be gifted land in Scotland. That's right. How much land? Not quite sure. The company, Highland Titles, which partnered with Distinctive Assets for the goodie bag, offers plots between 1 square foot to 100 square feet. You get an all-inclusive stay at the Scotland's Tyrone Castle, complete with butler service, so you can get a feel for the country. Bunch of other stuff as well. You get 3 nights at a Swedish coastal resort in the Pater Norst Lighthouse, luxury small ship adventure in the Amazon, plastic surgery stuff as well. So you get some of the top clinics for face rejuvenation, personal training sessions, financial advisor, et cetera, et cetera. You get all kinds of stuff now. So be prepared. You win just for participating and showing up. It's not bad, kids. It's not bad work if you can get it. Why do we still have award shows? I never, because it's so subjective. You know, it's like super, because you're looking and you're going, all right, does this person deserve this? Does this person not deserve this? Based on what? We're like, sports, it's like, okay, you scored the most goals, so you're automatically the winner of this award. I don't know, but they're going to do that. I want some of the goodie bags. That'd be fun. I'd own some Scotland. That'd be great. Fantastic. Go up there. Do Scottish things. Have some haggis. I don't think you do that. No, I won't. It's gross, and I've seen real haggis, not the pretend haggis that, oh, yeah, this is just like that. No, it's not. It's not. If it doesn't make you sick the first time, it's not real haggis. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. When I was in Scotland, my agent, when we were going up there, said, hey, don't eat haggis if they offer you any, because just don't. I said, okay. We saw these Swiss kids that were, traveling around Europe, and they were offered haggis, and we're like, I wouldn't eat that. And they did. We saw them like 2 hours later, just curled over at the train station, looking like they were going to die. We're like, we told you guys, get the eggs and the bacon. Simple as that. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Breaking news, the Taliban halted a plan to reopen secondary schools for girls in Afghanistan, going back on a pledge the night before the kids were going to go back to school. Oh, my God, they did what? Oh, no. Yeah. They've halted that plan. They've decided, no, sorry, we're not going to do it. You guys learning to read and write, sorry, just is a bridge too far for us. What do you think this is, like the 1400s? Was that a reference to what a hot mess they are? What a giant disaster. Nation building is stupid. We shouldn't do it. We shouldn't. There's a difference between helping countries who have made the decision to try to bring themselves out of whatever bonds of insanity that they were involved in, and in doing so, offering them help when they're asking for it and say, yes, we will help you with that. And I'm not talking about humanitarian side of stuff. I'm just talking about like the nation building side of things. Because we've tried it. America, it doesn't work. And partly because so many of these countries are back assward compared to what we are. We think everybody thinks like us. We think the entire world thinks the things that we do. In the West. Democracy is good, that free speech is good, that there's equality, etc. They don't. Russia doesn't feel that way. Russians do not feel this way. They don't. They're not into the LGBTQ plus 2A, 4-H club. They're not. That's not their jam. They push back, right? They're the unholy alliance we've been talking about, which is Patriarch Kirill, which sounds like somebody who would be on a starship somewhere. Oh, here comes Kirill, who leads the Russian Orthodox Church. He sees this as like a holy war between good and evil. And that the West has these insane things of, gender bending, non-binary, all of this stuff. And he made an alliance, Putin, a long time ago with the Russian Orthodox Church. And this guy's got huge sway. And he is fine. He said over the weekend, he's fine with eradicating the Ukrainians. They don't want to be like us. They look at us and are scared. And we think that if we hand them something and say, look, this is what it is. It's freedom. It's democracy. It's an opportunity to rule yourself, that somehow they're going to go, oh, that's great. No, because the people that are powerful are still going to rule. And for a lot of people out there, even the average citizen within some of these countries, their religion and their culture deems it a certain way, and we can't get by that. Well, why? Why don't you believe there's 400 genders? Why? Why is that? It's just insane. It is. So the Taliban going back on their word to allow girls to go to school should come as no shock to anyone. You cannot tame a nation that doesn't want to be tamed. Period. I mean, I continue to go and I continue to look at what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine. Hey, before the Ukraine got invaded by Russia, which is awful and evil, there's all kinds of hot messes going on there. They're trying to get themselves on the right track, but when you have people who have power and influence, they're going to use it and they're going to wield it in such a way. And corruption is easy when it's essentially, it's a puppet state, not for anybody else, but whoever's running the country at that moment in time. And they may leave all on their own accord. Yeah, I'm out of here. I was voted out, or I termed out. But while they're there, they're going to run that thing. And so corruption was a huge problem. Arguably the most corrupt country in Europe. Zelensky had done some good things. He's done some things that weren't so good. And you walk a fine line. But we seem to think that everybody believes the things that we do. We seem to think that everybody wants the same things we do. And that's not true. It's just not. We got to stop thinking like that. We have our values. We have our belief systems. And if people, here's the thing. We should allow them to import it if they want to, but we need to stop exporting it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Speaking of the Ukraine, the nightmare is continuing to go on. It's not getting better. Over 100,000 people are stuck in Mariupol as the continual bombing is going on and on and on, and it's getting uglier and uglier. And then, you look around and you say, okay, well, what do we do here? There's not a lot we can do. There's just not. At this moment in time, we continue to do what we do. We supply them with all the things that we can. We continue to emphasize that our red line, or the red line, at least as we have it at this moment in time, is if you go into a NATO country, we will invoke Article 5, which means you'll fight all of us. But the fear factor that is always there is the fact that you've got a guy that has got nuclear capabilities, doesn't seem to be afraid to use some of the things that he has, and he goes out and reminds people.
Russia must stop its nuclear saber rattling. This is dangerous and it is irresponsible.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that he's going to do some sort of tactical nuke. I don't know about the chemical side of things. I don't. And I think, okay, so a tactical nuke, and we've talked to our military analyst, Mike Lyons, and he was in charge of those back in his day when it was in the Army. And he talked about, look, it's not, this isn't big boy, right? This isn't little man. This isn't which are tiny in comparison to the weapons that we have now, but it's not even the size of those. You're talking about taking out neighborhoods, maybe 5 to 10 square, miles, and killing everything in its path, and some radiation, but not, evaporating, 1.5 million people in a split second. And no, you're not talking about that. I don't know if he used those or not. I think the chemical weapon thing is a much different thing, because chemical weapons, you see those things, right? You see those things. You see the nastiness of that, what's left behind. We saw in Syria. We've seen what Saddam Hussein did with the Kurds. You see the aftermath of little children curled up and their bodies are just, all contorted. When you see that stuff, it's different. You level a city, but you don't see anything is a much different thing comparatively to chemical weapons. But could he use both? Of course he could. NATO's worried about that.
The spread of chemical or biological agents used in Ukraine may have direct consequences also for the population living in NATO other countries in Europe. So it just underscores the seriousness of our concerns.
Yeah. And the president, Biden, he shuffled his way off over to Brussels. He's going to sit down and talk with everybody. He wants to look at him face to face, tell him exactly what he feels. And we'll see what comes out of it. They're going to put more sanctions on where there's stuff where you still can. Remember, Europe is still not sanction the oil and the gas because they depend so much on the Russians for that. And they have tossed it around. They have thought about it, but they have not yet done it. On the other side of stuff, there's another outlier here that's playing a role, and that's China. And can we get China to do a damn thing? China's looking at this, and their powers that be have told their the professors and the intellectuals, study on how taking Taiwan back through force, what that would look like, and also study what's going on right now in Ukraine. And China's a different bird. They're not by nature a risk-taking people. And the Communist Party looks at life in a much different way. They're long game all the time. They're opportunists if they need to be, but they're long game all the time. So if it's not tomorrow, but it's 100 years from tomorrow, they're fine with that. And I think maybe looking over and seeing what's going on over there is probably caution them more than a little bit.
I expect leaders will call on China to live up to its responsibilities as a member of the UN Security Council, refrain from supporting Russia's war effort, and join the rest of the world in calling for an immediate, peaceful end to this war.
Yeah, which they're just not saying anything. That's kind of their jam, right? Like, we want this to stop. We don't like war. We want this to stop. It's bad for business, right? It's bad for business. They take very much a mob-like feel towards things. If they have to, they'll pick a side eventually. But at the end of the day, it's about what's in it for us. How does this affect us? And all I know is at this moment in time, all of this potentially is bad for business. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from each of you. More fun stuff. Woke Wednesday. We got some fun woke stuff. Home Depot's got some training on privilege that you guys will be happy to know about. CarShield gives you 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. That shop is the shop that you choose. Prices of new cars, used cars are through the roof with inflation, the supply chain issues, and the rising cost of, yes, getting your car fixed. Think even if you had the part, getting somebody to do it, that price, labor-wise, has gone up, 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 and up. So why not get yourself a CarShield, right? You get all the amazing things. You're going to get a price that's perfect, the price point that you're looking at, and you're going to lock in your price forever. A million drivers have been helped by CarShield. Why not be one of them? Go to carshield.com/Benson. Carshield.com/Benson saves you 10% right there. And you're also going to lock in your forever price. So if you're with them for 1,000 years, your price isn't going to go anywhere. Or call 800-391-8888, 800-391-8888 to save 10% and lock in your forever pricing. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
Your nomination turned out to be a testing ground for conspiracy theories and culture war theories. The more bizarre the charges against you and your family, the more I understand the social media scoreboard lit up yesterday.
I think it's just so annoying, right? You know, so Ketanji Brown Jackson is going to be the next justice, right? Taking over for Kennedy. It's going to happen. That's the reality of it. It's like for like, but you got to stop. Somebody asked a question. And he's like, well, that's conspiracy, or that is racist, or what? Did we not see what happened to Kavanaugh? You dragged a lady out from 30 plus years ago who believed that he might have assaulted her at a place that she can't really remember with people that she doesn't really remember. And you turned it into a clown show. Then you tried to drag another one or two people out that went sideways when they got called on their BS, and even the media is like, yeah, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying any of this. Sorry. So enough with the, this is just really like, you guys are just evil and bad.
I don't think it's appropriate for the chairman, after every time somebody on this side of the aisle asks questions of the judge, you come back and you denigrate and you attack and you criticize the line of questioning.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He's right. But that's what we do now. That's why we all we do is fight and we argue, and nobody's serious about actual things. She's going to get past. This is, and the sad thing is, Republicans, you shouldn't just go up and say, look, it's like for like. Is she the best qualified? I don't know. I think at a certain level, they're all kind of got some sort of qualification. This isn't about whether or not you're qualified or you understand the legal side of things. This is about, how do you interpret the law? Do you interpret it in a way where you can look at the law and say, well, I think they meant this because this is a living, breathing document. This is what our founding fathers would want. or you're more of a traditionalist, right? Constitutionalist. We look and say, no, they meant it like this. Well, that's not in the Constitution. Yeah, but we have a mechanism of which you can change the Constitution if you want to go through it and do those things. And it's sad. It is. And why it's important is because we now have 9 oracles who, for the most part, decide all the big things. You go and vote for something, don't think for a moment that if one group, no matter how overwhelming it is, can't find the right judge somewhere and the right group of people to put money behind it to get whatever that the majority of people said, hey, I like this. This is good, thrown out. We have, they're oracles, right? They're the final, they're the seers. What they say goes. But then I sit back and I'm thinking to myself, all that being said, they know they're not going to stop her nomination. They know that. So what's the next best thing to do? Get political points, say the things that you know will resonate in the world of social media, and then raise money off of it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Can't believe you said she's not the most qualified or the best. How do I know who's the best qualified? Is she really the best? Really? I don't know. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He speaks, but does anyone listen?
We're right now about 3 weeks or so since the CDC made the modification of their metrics. So if we are going to see an uptick, we should start seeing it within the next week or so.
Okay. Talking about the new variant, right? It was Omicron BA2, BA Baracus. I painted the fool. Oh, jeez. Dr. Fauci. 2, 3, 4, 8 weeks from now, we'll see something. And of course, people have moved on. They have. They're moving on with their lives, looking over, and they're going, hey, why I know Europe's have this huge outbreak. Why is it only Western countries who seem to follow rules that get this? Other countries don't. Why is that? Well, they do, but just, it's different. No, I'm throwing it out there. I think it's a fair question. I don't think, and this is just me, that the Ukrainians are terrified of what's going on when it comes to COVID. Not that, and I'm not one of these COVID deniers. It's real. Go get a vaccine. Get on with your life. And stop telling everybody, hey, if you get a vaccine, you still have to do this, this, and this. Nobody's listening. I mean, even Heathrow and now the European airlines, and they're getting rid of their mandates. Finally. But let's not forget, there are plenty of kids out there that don't have shots. I have a 3-year-old. She is not getting a shot. She doesn't need a shot. Moderna today.
We did see lower efficacy against Omicron infections, but that was actually what you'd expect. In fact, if you look at the level of protection of 2 doses of the vaccine in adults, you'll see it was about the same as we reported today in the youngest under 6 population.
Yeah, I'm not getting her a shot. She doesn't. The children are not at risk. The majority of Americans in somewhat good health, not perfect health, somewhat good health. You're not going to get sick and die from this, especially if you've been vaccinated. But children in particular, you don't need it. And I'll get pushback. And, I think you should get... No, there's no reason for it. My 6-month-old, my 3-year-old, whatever it is that you have, it drives me crazy. And it shouldn't be a political thing. It should be a choice. Hey, you know what? I'm looking around. I don't really think that this is going to have any issues with my kids because I'm going and looking at all the data, and I know I'm supposed to be looking at science, and the science says that since the beginning of this thing has been virtually just as untouched children. Well, some kids have died, of course, but kids die swimming. Kids died riding their bikes. I mean, there's no vaccines for those things. And long term, you know what? It's okay. And I think that the thought of getting parents to do this, because go and look at the under 18 and how many kids got shot. You'll be surprised. These kids didn't get shots like, oh, you should be. No, they're not. And the younger it gets, the less there is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. So I don't know if this is real. It looks real. I just sent a text over my one of my best friends in the world. She works over at this place. I'll say it's Home Depot. And apparently they have leading practices that they're sending out. It's easy. Unpacking privilege. Because to be woke, you got to unpack the privilege. It says at the top, privilege, noun, special benefit or advantage that may be earned or unearned. A person may or may not be aware that they are benefiting from privilege. And then, of course, it breaks down the woke things that you would expect. If you don't have to explain that your spouse is of the same gender you have, heterosexual privilege. If you don't have to think about it, it's privilege. Check your privilege. White, male, class, Christian, cisgendered, able-bodied, heterosexual. What? So we should check all of those things? Yeah. Because don't you think about things in privilege? No, I don't. I just think about things that I have to do today. Like I got up and I thought, oh, I got to go to work. And I got to put together a show. And I've got to get prepared for a bunch of stuff I got to do because I'm take a couple days off next week. And Jack's coming out and we're going to hang out and have some fun because I haven't seen him in forever in a day. Well, that's privilege that you can do that. You can find privilege in anything. Could I not say this? What if you're black, non-binary, atheist, handicapped? Could I not look at you and say, you're privileged to be living in a country like America? Should they have to check a box there? Chad, now you're just being stupid. I'm just throwing it out there. It's a fair question, right? It's a fair question that you can ask people. Why it's uncomfortable to talk about white privilege. The word white creates discomfort, especially when individuals are not used to being defined or described by their race, because it's stupid. Now, this is up in Canada, so understand that the Canadians are really into this stuff. Here's something that I don't think is ever asked. Let's just say you're in Canada, and you're in an area of Canada where it's not just predominantly white, which is most of Canada, but it's like super white. Like it's so white, it's a haunted house. Like that's how white it is. And you have to go through this, and you're looking around and you think everybody in here is white. Everybody is, right? Everybody is. And our population is 100% cracker. So does this still apply? Do we have to do that? Here's something. I think most people should understand this. The majority of human beings don't think of themselves as whatever the left wants you to think that they think themselves. They don't wake up every day going, I'm white. They wake up every day and thinking, I'm Chad. You know, I'm Stephanie, I'm Phil, I'm Anthony, I'm getting on with my life. They don't think in terms of this. And then, of course, they want to say, well, why are you uncomfortable talking about it? I'm not uncomfortable talking about it. I'm talking about it all day. I got no problems talking about it. But I think there are real problems out there rather than looking for boogeymen and boogie women and boogie non-binary, non-gender specific things. There are real issues. And when we talk about how evil all these things are, remember this, yesterday, massive walkout in Florida and several other places because Disney's, quote unquote, the Don't Say Gay bill. All right? While this is going on, there are people in Mariupol, 100,000+ of them, who are struggling to survive because the Russians are attacking them to denazify them or to destroy them in their evil because of their gender issues, according to the Orthodox Church. And Patriarch Kirill. And we're playing games like, hey, we should all talk about how amazing our... Why don't we start from how amazing it is that we're born in this country? That every day we can go into a bathroom where we know that we can go to the bathroom and the plumbing is going to go away. Even before Russia invaded, I was watching people in Russia and Ukraine. And in parts of Ukraine, they didn't have toilets inside. They still had outhouses. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, we're super stupid blessed. But alas, some of us are just angry because, you know, we create things to be pissed about because things are so good.
They're walking out.
This is a human rights issue.
Nicholas is a Disney cast member and says he's upset about how the company has reacted to Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill.
Which is not real. It's not a real bill called Don't Say Gay. That's not the bill's name. The media gave it the name because it sounded catchy and you could shame Florida because Ron DeSantis is there and he's such a mean person. So where in the bill does it say don't say gay? Well, actually, nowhere. Nowhere in the bill does it say don't say gay. What it says is age appropriate. Under 10 doesn't need to learn about things, certain things. Age appropriate. Parents can have a look in to see what's going on. I have zero problem with that. My daughter's 3. When she's 7, there are things that she doesn't need to know about. And that's not just about gender identity and LGBTQ plus QRA, LMNOP stuff. It's nothing. It has all to do with just age appropriate. Right? But it doesn't matter because you have now a chance to be pissed and angry. Oh, I'm so angry. Why? Why are you angry? Because Disney didn't do what I wanted Disney to do.
We want action and not just continued lip service of saying, we love you, we stand with you.
Disney CEO Bob Chapek was silent at first and did not issue a public condemnation of the legislation.
Why should he? Well, because are they throwing gay people in prison? Are they murdering them? No. 30, 40, 50 years ago, Stonewall. People who came out of the closet and their lives were ruined and destroyed. Now, everybody has to be an ally. Everybody has to go outside. Everybody has to throw a fit. I'm all about equality. I'm all about, absolutely, knock yourself out. Zero problems with this. My issue is you're throwing a fit. You're acting like a child. You're acting like a child when you say things like,
They've lost that respect from thousands, hundreds of cast members.
Oh, first a cast member, so silly. What do you do? Well, I work in digital design, so I'm a cast member. So what are you playing? What member of the cast are you? Digital design guy? Yeah, digital design guy. Oh, okay, cool. Fantastic. But they've lost respect.
Right now, I think the magic has been lost.
Oh, that's the worst. I hate when that happens. Oh, boy. Why is the magic lost? Because you're pissed and angry. Because they didn't come out and say, you know what, Disney, us here at Disneyland, ESPN, and all the other things that we own, as our giant conglomerate, where we really didn't want to get involved in politics, but we're now having to. We're so mad at you, Florida. We've decided that we are going to tear Disneyland down, and we're going to move it somewhere else. We're going to move it to California. They already have one? Well, where can we move it? No, we're not going to move it to Seattle. It pisses rain every day up there, and it snows. No, South Carolina is somewhat conservative, too. Maybe Louisiana gets hurricanes. We don't want that. You know what? We're just really mad. God, stop acting like children. They can't. Throw fits. It's part of the fun. Angry, mad. Imagine, again, so when you think about privilege, think about the fact that you can go out and say this about your company you work for.
I am here standing because, I want to be a proud cast member once again.
He wants to be a proud cast member because
they've lost that respect.
They've lost. You're not going to jail. You'll be thrown away. No. So when you think about privilege, check off Born in America. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. MyPillow right now is deep discounts on everything, including the amazing towels. Normally $109.99. Right now for you, $39.99. 6-day money-back guarantee. 1-year warranty. You're going to love these towels. Cotton's grown right here in the United States of America, and it is awesome. They soak up the water because sometimes towels, they're lotiony or they're scratchy. After a few washes, they kind of go sideways. They start to tear. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And you're saving huge. Only $40. You're going to get 2 big towels. You're going to get them hand towels and 2 of those and 2 washcloths. Colors, sizes, everything you can imagine. Take advantage of it right now by going to mypillow.com/Benson. Make sure you use that promo code Benson to save big. mypillow.com/Benson. Deep discounts on every single item out there, including the MyPillow and the Giza Dream Sheets and the mattress topper. mypillow.com/Benson or call 800-983-4975. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, bud! You haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
But to be able to win Wimbledon, which was my dream, the one true dream that I wanted in tennis, that really changed my perspective. And I just had that gut feeling after Wimbledon, and had spoken to my team quite a lot about it.
That's Ashley Barty, the number 1 tennis player in the world. She's 25. She has won Wimbledon. She did last year. She won the Australian Open this year in her home country. She won the French Open. She didn't win the U.S. Open, but she's played out of her mind. And she decided yesterday, shocked everybody, she's done. She's done playing tennis. It's done for her. And she was very open about why she's done.
I've said it to my team multiple times. It's just I don't have that in me anymore. I don't have the physical drive, the emotional want, and kind of everything it takes to challenge yourself at the very top of the level anymore. And I just know that I'm absolutely, I am spent. I just know physically I have nothing more to give.
And that's very interesting when you think about it. So last week, 2 weeks ago, you have Tom Brady, who stayed retired and is far more accomplished in his sport than she is in hers. Has nothing to prove. She doesn't have anything to prove either. But he still wants to compete. He's got that drive, that itch. He can't stop competing. He thought he could, but he couldn't. And athletes know when it's time. I mean, yes, some will stick around a little bit longer for the paycheck or that, but for some, the competition is so important. It's playing the sports, playing the game itself is easy. The actual getting ready for the game, getting ready to compete is the tough part. Solid, fun show today. You guys have an amazing day. We got you over the hump. We'll do it again tomorrow. Follow along across all social media at Chad Benson Show. You guys have a good one. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.